So, has anyone else noticed that the past couple episodes, they've really been trying to build up this, like, festival? Like, they've been going all in. Like, the writers and all of that are currently writing Recreators, like, they're really wanting us to get hyped up for the festival that's going to have all of our characters going crazy and fighting, because they've spent, like, 3-4 episodes now on it, and then we had some breaks in between that as well, with, like, you know, a recap episode and a no episode last week. Like, it's very clear that they're really planning something crazy, because for them to spend so many episodes building up for, I'm guessing, the climax of the series, like the crazy battles and stuff to come, I'm pretty hyped up, because they've been implying every single episode, like, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be a battle to decide, you know, the entire world. Or in this case, us looking at the series, it's the battle to decide the fate of this series and how we feel about it once everything is said and done. Because right now, Recreators is a series that's very meta. It's very, very good, and it breaks the fourth wall constantly every single episode. Even though it has all these distinct traits, though, it doesn't automatically mean that this series is going to be a 10 out of 10 once everything is said and done. And there is still a very high chance that it could, you know, go down into the shithole and be completely trash once everything is over. So, I'm kind of curious exactly how this series is going to end, because with all the hype, all the build-up, and the meta shit that they've been doing for all of these episodes since the very beginning, I'm pretty interested to see where it's going to go. But talking about the latest episode, episode 16 of Recreators, this was once again, a calm before the storm episode, but also a mix of what you would expect from a lot of anime that we see every single season. It has a hot spring episode, and in this case, I think I made it very clear to many in the past that I don't really like these type of episodes. Like, I'm not going to go into the exact reasons, but to give a brief summary, I'm not a big fan of these type of episodes because they feel very cliche to me. Because, yes, I like fan service, don't get me wrong, I just don't like fan service that's there just to, you know, be there, right? It's not something I truly care about often at all. However, since Recreators has its own way to kind of mix up the formula and be meta, I think I'm honestly kind of fine with this episode, and hear me out. The reason for it is because of some of the ways the scenes were animated. Like, we have an entire discussion with the girl characters, like they're saying, oh, Meteora, she's gonna join us in the bath very soon, she'll be here very soon. As soon as that dialogue was done, we kind of shift over to the dudes, and they're just bathing in the hot spring, and I'm like, okay, so this is not the fan service I would normally expect, like, you know, the female fan service. And when you see the dudes just, you know, talking all that, and then the actual writer of the hentai girl, you know, the girl that was from, like, a hentai game, he pops up, and then you just see, like, this, like, close shots all over his body, which represents what you would see traditionally from a fan service scene, because I think all of us can agree we have seen a lot of anime, and we have probably seen a lot of fan service, and especially them up-close shots to the breast, to the belly, to the legs, the ass, all that. We've all probably seen that before when it comes to anime. And in this case, when they did that to the dude that wrote the hentai game, I'm like, oh my god, like, what the fuck? And then when the characters pitched in and said, like, if this was an anime, that would probably be one of the worst fan service sequences that anyone's ever seen, and that could not have been any more truthful. That fourth wall that was broken in that one moment, that was priceless. That really made me smile and laugh in that moment, just because of how that was done. And so, after all of that is said, we get a little bit more information that they're trying to go even crazier. We're trying to showcase that this series loves to mix reality with, you know, how the anime is written. And we found out that the actual character, Kanuya, I think that's how you say his name, Kanuya, you know, the boy that's Shinji, basically, he is voiced by a girl, which is very apparent if you hear his voice actor. It's obvious that he's voiced by a girl. However, I didn't think something like this would be mentioned at all in this series, because it's like Goku. Goku is voiced by a girl. I mean, not many people used to know that until Dragon Ball Super came out, that Goku was voiced by a female voice actor. And a lot of characters, shonen characters, and characters in general in anime, even if they're guys, they're voiced by females. And in this case, seeing, you know, this boy, Kanuya, actually being voiced by a girl, and then it being acknowledged, that truly surprised me. I'm like, yo, they're actually acknowledging that he is voiced by a girl, and then we have the scene to where we see his actual voice actor animated on screen. When they had the big festival going on, like the big, room and all that, and you see everybody just praising, fireworks going off and all that, you actually see an animated voice actor. You see the character, and then you see the voice actor, and the way the voice actor looks is very similar to that, but just in anime style. That was really cool how Recreators is going that far to give out the real names to these voice actors, but also include them into the story. Just this series surpasses all expectations, but just trying to be meta and realistic as fuck if something like this really did happen. Just really cool shit. I really like it. So getting into the fan service scenes, there was a lot of fan service in this episode. About like 2/3 of this episode was fan service. And I mean, depending on how you view that might determine if you like this episode or not. Me, someone that doesn't generally like a lot of fan service, I was able to appreciate this episode for the content that was within it. For instance, like the fourth wall breaking, to the meta stuff, we're talking about the voice actors, you're voiced by a female character, to also the setup for the climactic battle upcoming very soon. So, I mean, all these little things, I was able to overlook some things that, personally, I generally don't like a lot. And so, I feel like many might be like me, and be like, you know what, I can deal with it. It was a great episode because of what it is doing and how it's handling it. And I mean, also we get to see all the characters with a little bit of power-ups. Meteora, we get to see more of her powers. Now she's powered up. We get to see that, Celestia and how she has her mech back finally that we saw in episode 1. We see how Yuya, he now has an ability that, he didn't used to have. And so it makes up for the loss of his persona, stand ability he had. So, I mean, there's just these little things that we saw in this episode just implying that the upcoming battle is going to be freaking insane. So, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about this series? How do you feel about, all of our characters? How do you feel about the fan service? How do you feel about the dialogue between the characters? How do you feel about, our main villain and how they're trying to trap her in the birdcage? Do you think everything is going to go alright? Do you think that she's going to foil their plans completely and just destroy them like it's nothing? Like something bad's going to happen? And also, we got to remember that Magane, she was not in this episode at all, so there's a very likely possibility she's probably doing some heinous, crusty shit behind the scenes that nobody's going to expect at all. So I'm looking forward to that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.